Okay. If you're building something big right now, your own business, your legacy, your dream, it's no surprise that you're going to run into some challenges. But here's the truth most people won't tell you strategy alone isn't going to get you through. It's perspective, it's clarity, and it's asking the right questions. So today, I want to walk you through 3 simple but powerful questions you should be asking yourself right now. And these questions have helped me, and I think they will help you think more strategically, unlock new possibilities, and maybe even get unstuck. So, if you're feeling a little off track, maybe overwhelmed, or you're just ready to level up, take notes because this episode is about more than just problem solving. It's about aligning your thinking so you can rise, lead, and build with confidence. All right. So, the first question we're going to ask ourselves is what's really going on here? Right? Like, how many times have you asked yourself that question? What is going on here? So, I think, again, strategic thinking, it has to start with clarity. And clarity starts by seeing the real issue, not just the effects of the issue, not just the symptoms. We have to get to the root of the problem. And we just have to get real. I think a lot of times we react to what's happening on the surface. This isn't working, or my business is down, or I'm not making enough money, or my team isn't performing, whatever it is, I don't have enough leads. But really, it's about going deeper and saying, what is really happening here? What's really going on? Is it a systems issue? Is it perhaps something more internal, like a belief issue? Am I out of alignment somehow with what I say I want? Are my actions not matching my goals? And I think when you ask this question, because it is really the best place to start, right? Because it is going to be a question to basically interrogate reality, then you know that this question requires you to be brutally honest with yourself. And it's about sitting down to really get deeper and pull back some of the layers and get beyond the surface so that you can understand what's really happening, what has been going on, or what hasn't been happening that has led you to the problems that you're facing. And I think it's about being honest about what we're ignoring. So it is a question that will encourage you to be reflective. And if I can encourage you to do it without judgment, I think that's also powerful, right? So I want you to get into asking this question about what's really been going on with you and not to judge yourself. It's not a blame game of yourself or others. And I think it is an opportunity, though, for you to get real. And if you have found yourself in a pattern of maybe blaming other people or other things, let's be honest about that too. So, in asking that question, what's really going on here? It is about looking at some patterns that might be showing up again and again in your habits, in your business, and really looking at those patterns to determine whether or not they're serving you. And when you take a look at what's really going on, what the actual cause is beneath the frustration, then you truly have an opportunity to create solutions. And, we've all been there. We've all had a moment where we've lacked some vision. We've perhaps gotten into a pattern of blaming the market, blaming the environment we're in for a lack of productivity, a lack of sales. And when we do that, I think we also take away a little bit of our power. And I think when we take a moment to ask these questions, we get back in the driver's seat of our own business because now we are examining what's been happening, what might not be happening, and we give ourselves the ability to get to the root of the issue, which means that we also get closer to the possible solutions. You can't fix what you don't face. So, strategic breakthroughs can only start with truthful assessments. And that is what this first question will help you accomplish. All right, question number 2. What would this look like if it were easy? I love this question. Here's why. Because when we make things too hard, we set ourselves up for failure. I read this somewhere, complexity kills momentum. So this question, what would it look like if it were easy, really allows us to try to simplify things. And I think the simpler things become, the easier it is to stick to the action plan. And if you do have a tendency to make things harder than they need to be, this might be a really great question for you, a really powerful question. And listen, I understand entrepreneurs, we're cut from a different cloth and we are big thinkers and we are really motivated to do big things. And in doing that, sometimes we can over engineer, sometimes we can overthink, and a lot of times we can overdo. But what if all of that could just become simple? What if the right answer was easier than you think? Because if you take an honest look and you start to realize that maybe you have been overcomplicating things, then no wonder you're feeling some frustration, or no wonder you're feeling a little off or out of alignment. And this is really the best time. Any time is the right time, but this could be the best time to ask a question like this because we are quickly getting into almost the middle of the year. I don't know where time has gone, but really it's an opportunity for you to assess where you are at any moment and for you to constantly be looking at how to work smarter, not harder. We talked about that just a couple weeks ago here on Mojo. So when you ask this question, what would this look like if it were easy? You will start to identify new ways of doing things. You might start to identify simpler systems. You might start to understand how to leverage yourself. So other thoughts, other questions might come up, right? Like, what should I do differently? What would I do next? Who can I call? What system can I use? What should I stop doing? That's powerful right there in itself. So, as you ask this question, I think it's going to start to really become clear about certain tasks that you're doing that could easily be automated, possibly delegated, or maybe even deleted. What are you currently doing that perhaps you should stop doing? Because if you stop doing it, you might not even see any impact on your business at all. So that is really powerful when you can understand what to let go of. Now, another important thing that I think can come from asking a question like, what would it look like if it were easy? Is that you start to look at whether or not you're in flow. And when you understand how to step into flow, everything becomes easier. So, what could you be doing right now that could lighten your load, that could make it less chaotic, that could allow things to flow better, that could open the door to productivity? And remember this, looking for the easy way is not about doing anything lazy. It's not about trying to find shortcuts. I have to say that. I feel like somebody right now is thinking that. And I just want you to know that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about simplicity. We're talking about creating a clear, concise way of doing things that is not complicated, that allows you to feel aligned with your goals, that is a simple path that is really working smarter. That's really what the goal is when you ask question number 2. What would this look like if it were easy? All right, question number 3. Who do I need to become to lead through this? Or who do I need to become to accomplish this? Good question, right? It's always about who we're becoming. It's always about the journey. It's really seldom about the goal. I think if we can focus on the process, we will find that we will hit our goal. And when we focus on the process, we start to really understand who we need to become in order to hit the goal. Because every challenge, every goal is calling forth a higher vision of you. The answer might not always be what to do, but it might be who to be. Because who you are determines your success. And what do I mean by that? It's about the personal development goals that you have. It's about taking a look at the skills that you have and where you need to develop those skills or deepen those skills. It is about understanding how to grow into the leader you need to be to accomplish your goals, the person you need to develop into, right? It might be about becoming more decisive, more visible, more coachable, more trusting, even as a leader. So, this question number three, who do I need to become to lead through this, is really about identifying. It's really about understanding your identity and how it might need to change, grow, and shift. Because your next level is always tied to a version of you that is waiting to be activated. So, as you really work through this question, I can give you a couple of other questions to ask yourself to really expand on this. So, the question I would also ask is, where are you playing small? Are you shrinking back? Are you hiding or hesitating? We all do it at times. How is it showing up for you right now? Because when you get clear about that, you will find ways to step forward and really embrace the true expression of yourself, your leadership, your potential, because the world is not served by you playing small. Another question that I would ask is, what habits or traits does your next level require? Who I am today is so much more than the leader and the business professional that I was 20 years ago. Honestly, it's so much more than who I was 12 months ago. So, what habits or traits do you need to develop or further expand upon so that you can level up, so that you can grow into that next opportunity for you to be able to break through whatever ceiling of achievement you might currently be under? And here's another question you could ask yourself. And this is really a question that will help you, I think, understand a little bit more about how you see yourself. So, for a lot of you, you might be in a business where you're a solopreneur. And the question that I would challenge you and really any of us to ask ourselves is, what would a CEO version of you do today? In other words, if you were at that level, which for a lot of us you actually are, you're running your own business every day, and it might just be an opportunity to align with that thought. What would a CEO version of you do today? What would be the decisions you'd be making? What changes would you be implementing? What actions would you be taking? Who would you be talking to? Who might you even be hiring in your organization when you ask that question, when you really identify with the CEO version of who you are? So, if the old you could solve it, it wouldn't be a challenge. So remember that challenges equal growth opportunities and obstacles are opportunities. So honestly, the growth that you can engage in, the growth and the path ahead of you, this next version of you holds the key to solving all of your challenges. So let's just go over the three questions one more time. Number one, what's really going on here? Number two, what would this look like if it were easy? And number three, who do I need to become to lead through this? Your answers to these questions can unlock a much more strategic, more confident, more aligned version of yourself. And honestly, believe me when I tell you this, it is not about having all the answers. I certainly don't have all the answers all the time. It is about, though, learning how to ask better questions. And I think it's also important that as leaders, we understand that it's okay not to have all the answers. We just need to know where our resources lie. And sometimes those resources will be revealed to us through the questions we ask. And so for me, I definitely have felt over the last year that I've been on this journey of transformation and growth. I felt the challenges. I felt a lot of the pressures from our current market, from just facing different challenges as a leader every day. And I know that when I take the time to ask myself questions like this, which is what inspired me to share it with you today, that it reveals things to me that I could definitely have a blind spot to or choose not to make the time to explore. And it's only through asking the questions and taking the time to reflect that you can really dig deeper and start to connect with the I think information and the reality that can really help you change things. I believe that learning to ask better questions is certainly the path to greater opportunities. If this episode spoke to you, I want to hear from you. I would love for you to DM me or send me an email. Let me know what your favorite takeaway was. Let me know how you're applying any one of these questions in your life or your business. Tell me what you're challenged with right now. Tell me some obstacle you've overcome. I love being able to connect with you and share our stories of failing forward, our stories of success. And if you know another entrepreneur like you who needs this message, please send it to them. I know this was a short one, but I think it had a lot of impact, and I'm sure they'll thank you for it. So I thank you for being with me, and I thank you for starting your week with me. So keep showing up here because I will. Keep asking better questions, and remember, clarity isn't found, it's created. And so I will see you next time on Monday Morning Mojo.